In this segment, we're going to talk about how the nursing board deals with nurses who have a substance use problem. First and foremost, this is the biggest thing I can tell you is that if you really have a substance use disorder, whether it's narcotics, whether it's alcohol or something else, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is to self-report to the board and to get into a program where you can get rid of that addiction or learn how to cope with it. So the board has set aside a program where if you will suspend your license for a period of time, usually 90 to 120 days, and enter into an intensive inpatient or outpatient substance use program, then guess what? If you successfully complete that program, then it will not be reported publicly to the world about this issue. Now, following your intensive treatment, they will put you on a probation agreement and continue to want to monitor you to make sure that you have a window of time, usually up to 5 years, so there's no relapse to any problem. This is the biggest benefit and way to avoid discipline that there is. If you are caught with a substance use disorder and did not self-report, well, guess what? It's a much harsher thing because the probation agreement, if they give you one, will be public and will be reported. Now, let's talk about these agreements briefly. They are agreements that will restrict your license significantly. They will require you to work no more than 80 hours, usually in a 2-week period. No night shift, no swing shift, must work under the watchful eye of a supervisor who files quarterly reports about your progress. And then potentially you have to attend a nurse support group. You have to attend something like a 12-step program such as AA or NA, depending upon the situation, and a number of other things you have to do. Now, probation means that if you violate the terms of probation, they can suspend your license, even if it's just for a short period of time until you report in front of the board about your failures. Now, the people that work on these and monitor nurses at the board, they're very concerned about your success. They want you to be successful in these programs. Another part of the program that's very important is they're going to test you randomly. And the random tests are like 24 tests a year. It averages out to a couple times a month. But because it's completely random, you might have 4 tests in 1 month and then no tests in the next month. So usually they say they'll do either blood, urine, or a hair sample. In my experience, they will only have you do urine tests unless you fail or have a dilute. Then they will kick it up a notch and make you do a higher form, a more invasive form of testing, such as blood or hair. So it's important that you go to your assigned dates. When you're told to go in, you're supposed to report. I think it's within 24 hours, but whatever the rules are at the time, you go to the labs that's been selected for you and you get the test done. And it's important that you follow these rules, and these can go on for up to 5 years. Now, I have been able to help nurses avoid some of the requirements of these initially proposed probation agreements if they meet certain criteria. Again, as I mentioned in another video, I have nurses evaluated for a substance use disorder. And if you don't meet the criteria, some of those requirements can come off the list. So again, it's important to come in and get a free, confidential consultation to discuss the merits of your case and what the likely outcome is. In some cases, the best thing you can do is to self-report and get into a program and keep it off your public record.